Stripping the Sub. Stronghold Doms, Book 6. Written by Golden Angel. Narrated by Rosie Allen. Prologue. 14 years ago. Eleanor hugged herself as she got onto the noisy school bus, her head slightly tucked under, shoulders rounded. The bus ride home was always the worst part of her day this year. The ride to school wasn't nearly as bad because she was at the first bus stop, which meant she had first choice of seats. Unfortunately, for the ride home, she was always one of the last people on the bus because her 7th period class was so far away from the front doors of her high school. No one wanted to sit at the back of the bus with the 3 jerks, Kevin, Ryan, and Lawrence. They were all sophomores on the football team and thought they were too good to be riding the bus. When they weren't tormenting their fellow passengers, they spent their time talking about what kind of cars they'd be driving next year and what position they'd have on the football team. All of them bragged to each other about how they'd be starting, even though starting positions usually went to seniors, not juniors. Reality didn't seem to matter to them. Her steps faltered a little bit when she saw a new head sitting back there, in the very last seat, which Ryan usually claimed. Well, not new exactly, just unusual. Mike. His head was tipped back against the seat, his eyes closed, and he looked like he was asleep. A senior. He rarely rode the bus, but it happened every so often. Unfortunately, it meant there was no buffer seat between the terrible trio and the rest of the bus. Everyone else's gaze skittered away from hers as she walked down the aisle, her heart rising in her throat. She kept her eyes on the seat in front of Kevin, who always sat in front of Lawrence. With the choice of Kevin or Ryan, Kevin was definitely nicer. He was a little bit more of a follower, which meant he wouldn't immediately feel the need to start anything with the person sitting in front of him just for kicks. And hopefully, being across the aisle and 1 seat up from Ryan would be enough of a buffer. Even though he'd never done anything to her, she really kinda hated Mike in that moment. Couldn't he have sat in front of Ryan's usual seat? Did he have to sit in the very back? Taller than anyone else on the bus, Mike had long, lean swimmer's muscles, which looked good on him. He didn't play football like the other backseat jerks. He was on the swim team when he wasn't the lead in the school show. Ryan had tried to make fun of him for the theater thing once, and only once. Mike had stared at him, brown eyes completely focused, strands of long brown hair brushing against his high cheekbones, until Ryan had cringed and turned.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?